And I wasn't the only one who was brought here. There were quite a few who were brought here. Um, we don't know who we are as far as, maybe you're one of them. I don't know. We don't
Linking
know
up
each
with
other.
each other. Well, I certainly haven't had the visitations that you have had. I've had visitations, but they would tend to be more by spiritual beings, more than specifically beings that would give me specific information, such as you have had.
Yeah, of course. Well, you know, the thing is, as I understand it, those who were brought here had ingrained within them the ideology and the concepts and the way to implement that ideology within their lives. And I don't know that everyone who was brought here has had experiences that are like my own, because I haven't really had an opportunity to sit with them and ask them. And it could very well be that some who were brought here have had the opportunity ingrained within them to communicate with the spiritual realm, to understand deep spiritual concepts, and to try and move people in that respect as well. Because this is a multifaceted effort to bring this world into another state of being so that peace can be achieved. And it isn't just about UFOs, and it isn't just about people from other worlds. It's most importantly about the nature of how people on this world think, act, speak, and how they change things so that it can become a different place.
Right now, um, the the first thing I'm just is that as I understand it, the star system that you mentioned in the lecture that you shared that I saw was the Tau Ceti star system. Is that correct? Um,
That's what they showed me. That's what they told me.
Now, so what we're talking about, because you and I seem very much alike in the sense that we're members of the human species.
Right.
So, assuming that uh, you, that is, there are a couple of possibilities that you may be a Tau Satan who has assumed human form in order to, you know, be more adjusted to our planet, or that you come from a human planet in the Tau Ceti system. And I'm wondering
Hmm.
if you thought about these issues at all.
Well, of course, because I met other beings who didn't look like us at all.
Aha.
The the way it was explained to me is that humankind exists out among the stars in many places. This is not the only world where there are humans. As a matter of fact, this world is not where humankind originated. Humans were brought here. So it stands to reason that there are humans in many different places out there in the universe, at least in the near universe where our galaxy is located. What's beyond that, I couldn't tell you, because really all I know is what they told me. But I've
Right.
seen quite a few people who look just like humans, and some of these people that look just like humans, Alfred, they tell me that they are from a place called the Pleiades.
Oh, right.
So how can I argue with that? I mean, if someone gets out of a quote unquote flying saucer
Oh, I see.
and you sit and have a chat with them and they say, well, I'm from the Pleiades, how can a person argue with them about that? I mean, they obviously should know where they're from. And if they ask me where I'm from, there's no argument. I tell them I'm from the United States. And they go, but where are you from? And so I tell them, and they're like, oh, of course. And that's the end of that conversation. They understand completely. So humankind is out there. We just don't know about it.
Now, in terms of during the visitations that you had or have had and the memories that you've recovered, were you told anything about the destiny that you would have here or how your life would unfold or what you would be doing?
Not in absolute terms. And I believe that the reason is due to the fact that because we have free will, what happens next is pretty much a choice that we have. However, that said, they did they did say to me that there were going to be a series of things that would take place in the 18 years before 2012. And that I would know what direction this world was going in if I was watching the signs. It could either go towards peace or away from peace, towards war. And in the course of watching, I've seen that the powers that move things on this world have moved this world towards war at every opportunity. And I've not seen the people of this world have chosen peace and embraced it.
It's 20 hours.
You mean, sorry, there was just an automatic thing on my computer. You have not seen the people of this world embrace peace? Is that what you just said?
Exactly. As a group, there are those who have, of course. But as a body of people, they have not embraced peace. They've embraced fear, and they've allowed that fear to give them the insecurity that keeps them insecure.
Okay. Now, this is sort of a train of thought that I've been following over the recent past, that we're actually separating to two different timelines. And one is what I would call a 2012 to 13 catastrophic timeline, and the other is a 2012 to 13 positive timeline. And that there's a whole bunch of people that are tuned into the catastrophic timeline, and that is a separate reality, and it's buttressed by its own set of facts. I mean, there's $1 trillion economy that's trying to get World War III started, that has built all these underground shelters, and that believes that Planet X is coming in, and solar flares, and everything is going to be wiped out. And then there's a separate reality, which is, which in terms of the singularity at the core of our universe, the portal is, the Stargate at the center of our universe has just in the past 6 weeks shifted over and started to emit consciousness waves of enlightened unity consciousness. And, you know, it's been shifting throughout the harmonic convergence, and then now in our galactic era, and now into the kind of the unity consciousness era. And that there's a positive timeline emerging that's an actual dimension, and that that all of us can tune into, and that is a dimension that we're reaching out to and tuning more and more people into, and then that is almost going to go off into the new dimension, which we'll be building a positive reality in. And it's not our business to take care of the catastrophic timeline. That will take care of itself. But rather to those people who resonate now to the waves of enlightened unity consciousness emanating from the core of the universe. Does that resonate with how you might feel, or?
Well, I've heard these things before, How I feel about it, well, it's highly subjective. What what I see more specifically, and just in my own case, is that people are afraid. And as a body of people, I think it would be important that if anyone is going to move into a timeline that embraces hope and security and peace and happiness, that anyone that would enter that timeline without doing something to bring those who are afraid right along would find that they'd be living in their own version of hell eventually. I think that it's important for everyone on this world to understand that if this world, if the people of this world are going to move into another realm, another state of being, it has to be because they have agreed to. And I don't know that that's going to happen. And I understand the duality that you're talking about with the shift in the dimensional reality. I've seen this as well. I just don't know because I haven't been prepared for that. My undertaking, if I had one that was to be defined at all, was basically to bring people to a point where they realize the greatest potential within themselves and then to use it in a way that would bring the greatest good from everyone that they would meet.
Would you be able and willing to share some of the signs that you were told would emerge in the 18 years preceding 2012, or is that not appropriate? I'm just wondering.
No, it's fine. I'd be happy to. I mean, these are all things that are now past history. So, the skeptics could say, "Oh, well, you could easily tap into something that's already happened."
Right.
But in reality, the most significant things, in my mind, have already taken place, leading us to where we are now at 2010, going into the last 14, 15 months before 2012, where there are still things to take place. But those events that took place for me, that were my signs, the first was I was shown a newspaper when I was having one of my visitations, and I was probably 14 years old. This newspaper headline stated, "The world goes to Riyadh." Now, I had no idea what Riyadh was, but they wanted me to look at it, remember it. I never even thought to look it up. It just didn't make any sense to me. This was a significant point, and it also was a significant point for an operation called Desert Storm. Because Riyadh was the massing point to go against Saddam Hussein, you see. The other things that were taking place, wars, travesties, illnesses, the AIDS virus was one of them. Another one was, it was a man-made virus that was sweeping the planet. I haven't seen that one happen yet, but I've heard a lot about different viruses that are, people are afraid and need to get their shots, which is a huge mistake if you do.